if we were going to try to use reference triangles on these two ideas, cosine of 195, let's see, the cosine of 195 would put us 15 degrees. This would be 15 degrees into quadrant 3. And we'd say, I don't have a reference triangle for that one. And likewise, if we said 105 degrees, that would put us 75 degrees off the x-axis in quadrant 2, and I don't have a reference triangle for 75. I can use my sum to product formulas to get something that is a little bit more recognizable. And when I do that, when I add 195 and 105, I get 300, and then I divide by 2, and that gives me 150. Well, 150, I can handle that. 150 gives me a 30-degree angle in quadrant 2, and I like that. I can deal with that. And it also gives me a 45-degree angle in quadrant 1. Well, again, I can deal with 45. I like those two very much. All right, so we're going to do that down here, and we're going to say the sum of 195, the sine of 195 plus the sine of 105. And so we look up there at this formula. We're going to use this. I don't expect you to remember this formula. It's a little much. Although, I mean, there are certain things you can see about sine and cosine and the way they act. But anyway, we're going to say the sine comes first. And that's the case when everything is, all sine or all cosine. You notice that the sine comes first. Of course, the cosine has to change the sign down here, but anyway, and then the cosine comes next, and that's so they share things. It's kind of interesting down here that they don't share when it's cosine, but anyway, that's almost backwards from the way we think. But anyhow, we start with positive, then we go to negative. Okay, so we try to remember that. We say the sine of 195. Well, I hate to write it out, but let me write it out. Is equal to 2 times the sine. Is there parentheses up there? Well, just to contain it. So we'll say that. We'll say 195 plus 105. And this is just like the example. And then we'll say plus cosine of 195 minus 105 over 2. Let me make sure I did that right. Oh, it's not plus. We're going to the product. Okay, so I'm wrong. I don't believe my own name. The name says product, so there we go. I'm multiplying. All right, there I got it. You can see I don't have it memorized. And so what we have here is 2 sine of, I say 195 and 105, that's 300, divided by 2 is 150, times the cosine of, if I take away 105 from 95, I get 90 divided by 2, cosine of 45. Okay, so I think to myself, well, I've got reference triangles for this. I've got 30 here, and 30 opens up on 1, and 60 opens up on the square root of 3 and 2, and I also have a 45-degree angle here, 45, and that opens up on 1, 1, and square root of 2. Alright, so let's see what we have here. We have 2 times the sine of 150. What's the sine of 150? Well, it's positive 1 over 2. Sine is positive in quadrant 2. Times the cosine of 45 in quadrant 1. That's 1 over the square root of 2. Alright. The 2's cancel right away. 2 and times 1/2, that's just 1. I get 1 over the square root of 2, and I suppose I should fix that to look like this. But that's my answer. Alright. So I can make it work out to be the reference triangles that I like dealing with.